Call the Board of Commissioners meeting to order. Rise. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful evening. We thank you for this body. And Lord, we just ask you to bless us this evening. And as we collaborate with one another, and we just ask you to grant us wisdom this evening.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes. Commissioner Barnes.
Here.
Commissioner Mulder.
Here.
Commissioner Augustine.
Here.
Commissioner Haskell.
Here.
Commissioner Pearlwright. Here. Commissioner Youngquist.
Here.
Commissioner Moudry.
Here.
Commissioner Brayler.
Here.
Commissioner Drosha.
Here.
Commissioner Toomey.
Here.
Commissioner Hanson.
Here.
Commissioner Lotzenheiser.
Here.
Commissioner Holmes.
Here.
Commissioner Rogers. Chairman Mott.
Here. All right, are there any agenda additions or changes?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to add under Ways and Means, number E, 6 for MMRMA liability litigation. And I would like to remove under the new business the closed session.
I'll move the agenda as amended.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, you have the April 17th minutes.
Support.
Been moved by Commissioner Lotzenheiser, supported by Commissioner Hanson. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? All right. Next up, we have some communications. We have a
Closed session.
Yes. Session minutes.
Oh, okay. Close minutes.
We moved the minutes already? Apparently, we just moved the original minutes. You?
So we need to approve the closed session minutes first.
Mr. Chair, I move the minutes from closed session.
Been moved by Commissioner Lotzenheiser, supported by Commissioner over here. Youngquist. Youngquist. I didn't see where it came from. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we're on to communications. So we have a letter from Ingham County referring to the materials management plan. We have a resolution from Washtenaw County supporting a significant increase in funding to 211 for their 2025 budget. Letter from the Department of Treasury outlining how a county can opt out of the requirement to appoint a designated assessor. We also have a letter requesting a change to the 2024 draft master plan to consider property on Cochrane Road as industrial versus general business. And we also have a letter from LEAP, reference industrial land inventory. The next up, we have retirement recognition, and I believe they're not here, but I'm going to go ahead and read the resolution. So the resolution of appreciation for Christopher Burton, Sheriff Office, May 15, 2024. Whereas Christopher Burton will be retiring from the Eaton County on May 31st, 2024. And whereas Christopher worked in the Sheriff's Office as a detective and Sheriff's Deputy from June 1st, 1999, and is retiring with 25 years of service. And whereas Christopher has provided dedicated and honorable service to the residents and employees of Eaton County, and whereas the Eaton County Board of Commissioners seeks to recognize and express appreciation for Christopher's years of public service. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners expresses its sincere gratitude for the years of exceptional service Christopher provided to Eaton County. And be it further resolved that this resolution of appreciation and support be duly recorded and attached to the permanent records of the county on this 15th day of the month of May in the year 2024.
Support.
Been moved and supported. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Next resolution is appreciation for Kathy Bond, Circuit Court, May 15th, 2024. Whereas Kathy Bond will be retiring from Eaton County on May 31st, 2024. And whereas Kathy worked in the Circuit Court as a court recorder from January 2nd, 2015, and is retiring with more than 9 years of service. And whereas Kathy has provided dedicated and honorable service to the residents and employees of Eaton County, and whereas Eaton County Board of Commissioners seeks to recognize and express appreciation for Kathy's years of public service. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners expresses its sincere gratitude for the years of exceptional service Kathy provided to Eaton County. And be it further resolved that the resolution of appreciation and support be duly recorded and attached to the permanent records of the county on this 15th day of the month of May in year 2024. I want to thank them for their service.
The resolution.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right, that brings us up to limited public comment. Please approach your podium, and if you'd limit your comments to 3 minutes, please.
Good evening. My name is Steve Chapkus. I'm with Foster Swift, 1700 East Beltline in Grand Rapids, and I work with 1323 South County, which is an investment company owned by the Suen family, which owns parcels of real estate on the east and west side of Cochrane Road, just north of I-69. Over the last number of months, the Suens, through their engineer Eric, who is here, have engaged in active discussions with many of the stakeholders, working groups, township commissions, and county commissions regarding the future land use map, which is part of the revised county master plan. Tonight's meeting is just another part of that communication process, and the Suen family desires to complete the chain of communication here this evening. Specifically, the Suens are requesting that within the master plan, the future land use map designates their property as an industrial future land use rather than general business future land use. During the communications and discussions, there were a number of comments from neighboring landowners and others that they would prefer an agricultural land use versus an industrial land use. The Suens want to take this opportunity to once again be certain that they communicate clearly that in the future land use map, the choice is one between general business versus industrial, not agricultural versus industrial. They believe that industrial uses fit the current marketplace better. They believe that as opposed to the old smokestack industrial use, new industrial is cleaner and better. It provides good jobs for persons living in or nearby the community, and it does not create the retail traffic or sprawl potential that a general business designation would. At this juncture, they also wish to firmly reemphasize that what they're seeking to create is a mutually beneficial working partnership between ownership, between development agencies such as LEAP and MEDC, the townships, and the county. Hopefully, all of the interactions to date with their engineer and the other family members at the various meetings have served as a good example and first foundation of that spirit of working partnership. In the end, a future land use map designating this parcel as industrial would not be an end to this process by any means, but would create an open door to future cooperation and a development pattern for this property that benefits all concerned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Eric DeYoung. I work with Naderveld. We are a civil engineering, surveying, and land planning firm here in Michigan. Been working with Steve and the Suen family for almost about 5 months here. We've engaged Brandy and the other stakeholders in the community here, and it's been a joy to get to know people and listen to their goals and their thoughts for the community. I want to touch on just a couple of frequently asked questions and just offer a few concluding thoughts. First, utilities. The master plan before you has wisely indicated the subject parcels that we're talking about for a more intensive use. The location adjacent to the expressway is well-suited for development, and there's clear opportunity here to work with the city of Charlotte from water and sewer. We've met with them. Their door is open to a cooperation. Second, drainage has been a concern on many citizens' mind. A thorough stormwater management plan will be required. Now, whether the property is commercial or industrial, in either case, stormwater practices will be adopted to improve water quality, offer channel protection, and flood control. Post-development conditions simply provide improved stormwater management capacity through detention measures. Finally, I'd like to just share an example from my own hometown. Jamestown Township is located just south of I-196 in the city of Hudsonville. A wonderful strategic location between Grand Rapids and Holland. It has strong roots in agriculture, and I see many parallels to the community here. About 20 years ago, well, the township has welcomed industrial uses, and about 20 years ago, high-tech firms like Royal Technologies and Aspect made their home there and have provided excellent career opportunities. The companies have made wonderful neighbors. The development was orderly, measured, and thoughtful, and when tractors went by next door, no one batted an eye. Recently in that community, more intensive highway commercial uses like fast food drive-throughs, gas stations, and strip retail have started to pop up rapidly. This has increased traffic on roads and the pressure on infrastructure, and these are issues that were really constrained with industrial-type uses. While highway commercial-type uses do provide a benefit, the area has become more out of step with the rural, relaxed environment residents have prized. Simply said, industrial neighbors are more conducive to the rural-scale traffic patterns and setting than the highway commercial-type uses. So we invite you, as you think about the goals for the county, we encourage you to embrace modern industrial uses as part of the fabric of the community. We thank you for your time, the consideration, and the dialogue we've had with stakeholders here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. I thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak. My name is Mary Clark. I am the elected clerk in Delta Township. I've lived in this county in Delta for 45 years, but I want to be clear, I'm speaking tonight as Mary Clark. The board has not taken a position on what I'm going to speak to. I do support the county's movement and discussion tonight to increase the county levy. And I look forward to the county addressing the legacy costs and the staff salary issues and challenges before them so that we can be competitive to surrounding communities and best serve our residents in the county. And so I appreciate your consideration. And I think law enforcement is very important, and I think it's important that the entire county have the benefit of law enforcement 24 hours a day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Rick Dykstra. I live on the corner of Cochran and Broadway, right by this property that we've been talking about with the industrial zoning. And I'll tell you, I am 100% against this. I've lived there over 38 years now, bought the place because it was residential and agricultural. And I've talked to all of my neighbors up and down Broadway and in the area there, and I didn't find one person in favor of this. Now, residential, that would probably be doable. As far as drain fields go, if you don't have at least a 2-acre lot, you're not going to have a drain field because that soil in that area does not drain well at all. Now next, what's the need for industrial when the Combs Industrial Park still has plenty of space? It has city water and sewage, and it has 3-phase power, it has natural gas, none of which do we have out there. So I don't see the need to go and rezone this as industrial, certainly not at this time. Hopefully not until after I'm gone and moved out. So, thank you.
Is there anyone else? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. Next up, we got committee reports and the resolutions. First up is Health and Human Services Committee with Commissioner Lawson-Heiser.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had a great meeting. We saw reports both from Martha Richards at the Health and Rehabilitation Center, along with Kate Long from Tri-County Office on Aging. We do have one action item, and it is on page 33 of your packet. And it's a renewal of sorts, a 3-year renewal resolution to approve an intergovernmental contract for the establishment of a Substance Use Disorder Oversight Policy Board, and I would so move.
Moved by Commissioner Lawson-Heiser, supported by Commissioner Earl Wright. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
That concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Up next, we have Public Safety Committee with Commissioner Barnes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 3 resolution items on the agenda. Just real quick, we met Public Safety Thursday, May 2nd. Just some highlights real quick. Looks like the quarterly reporting for the reimbursements for the jail and the RAP program and everything has been on track and for budget set. Also, from Ryan Wilkinson, the emergency management manager, Ryan reported they had a mortuary response team exercise, full-scale exercise held at Eden County Fairgrounds Wednesday, May 1st. It was successful. They had about 200, 300 participants in that drill. And also like to welcome Mitchell Carlson. He's our new from MSU, our new summer intern for the emergency management program. Moving on to resolutions. First one is the resolution to approve Waverly School Resource Officer Agreement. It's on page 45 of your packet. Basically, they're going to like to extend their contract until, let's see, I lost my place, sorry. It's going to be fully funded by the school district until June 30th of 2026. I'd like to thank Tony Terranova, the high school principal, for attending the public safety meeting. Tony had a lot to say about the benefits of having Deputy Troy Hansberger assigned to that school, and I would like to move that.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Barnes, supported by Commissioner Haskell. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Mr. Chair.
Oh, yep. Commissioner Brayler.
I just simply want to indicate I opposed this when it was originally proposed. We have a sizable number of openings for deputies with the sheriff's department that we can't fill. And I think that it frankly is inappropriate for us at this time when we have a greater need for road deputies to take one that we do have and put them into this contract. And so I will be voting no again.
Any other comments or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
All right, motion carries.
All right, thank you. Next resolution is the resolution to approve the amendment to the Eaton County 911 plan. This is an administrative finding. Basically, it deals with the PSAP, the Public Safety Answering Point call centers. These were call centers that basically receive emergency calls for landlines and mobile phones, and I would so move it.
Moved by Commissioner Barnes, supported by Commissioner Toomey. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
All right, my last one here, Community Corrections Advisory Board appointment. Prairie Bay Court would like to appoint Judge Amanda Pollard to this position, and I would move it.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Barnes, supported by Commissioner Augustine. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
That concludes my report, Mr. Chair. Thank
Thank you, Commissioner Barnes. And we're moving on to Information Technology and Communications Committee with Commissioner DeRosa.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, we met on May the 1st, Wednesday. We have no action items, but we had some reports come in. Communications Director Logan Bailey presented his department's monthly report. He noted Resource Recovery is promoting the Eaton County Spring Cleanup in the County Journal, and the Sheriff's Office Deputy Paramedic Program promotional materials are in development. Mr. Bailey stated that the GIS team is collaborating with the Controller's Office to build new platforms for residents looking for information on property values, taxes, and other geographic data. An update on Eaton County's social media and upcoming press details were also provided. Technology Services Director Eric Daly presented the department's monthly report. Director Daly reported RFPs have been sent out for the 5-year aerial imagery project for the Tri-County area and are due by May 15th. It's expected this project will be completed in 2025. It was noted all the technology equipment for the youth facility expansion has been ordered and is on track with the building completion timeline. He also stated the GIS team is working with construction codes on remapping all, and this surprised me, this number surprised me, 249 private roads in Eaton County. Didn't know it was we had that many. An update on broadband was also given, and that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner DeRosa. All right, moving on to Public Works and Planning Committee with Commissioner Rogers.
Thank you. The Drain Commissioner presented their annual report, and we have 5 resolutions for you. The Construction Code and Planning and Zoning presented a resolution to approve and adopt the new Eaton County Master Plan, and I move this resolution.
Moved by Commissioner Rogers, supported by Commissioner DeRosa. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. My next resolution is Resource Recovery presented a resolution to amend the county's Michigan Department of Environmental, Great Lakes, and Energy rural electronics grant to purchase a mobile trailer specifically for the collection of electronics, and I move this resolution.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Rogers, supported by Commissioner Augustine. Any questions or comments? Commissioner Augustine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick comment. I just think that this is going to be a great use of these funds, and I look forward to this trailer being able to be taken around the county and collect electronics from those that don't have access to electronics recycling. I know in the recycling world, this has kind of been a big deal. Typically we have to pay quite a bit for electronic recycling, so it's nice to have this grant to help cover the cost so that we can provide this service to all of our residents throughout the county. So I'm very supportive of this.
All right, very good. Any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
My next resolution is Resource Recovery has presented a moratorium of understanding between Eaton County and Calhoun County Recycling and Solid Waste Department to create a material management partnership. And I move this resolution approving the MOU.
Moved by Commissioner Rogers, supported by Commissioner Pearl Wright. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
And my last resolution is, lastly, Resource Recovery presented a resolution appointing the Eaton County Department of Resource Recovery as the designated planning agency for the development of material management plan. It's known as the MMP, and I move this resolution.
Moved by Commissioner Rogers, supported by Commissioner DeRosa. Any questions, comments? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
I have one more resolution. The Parks Department has presented a recommendation from the Parks Grant Program scoring committees for the 3 communities to receive grant funding. One of them is Oneida Township for $60,000 for a new park at their township hall. The second one is Delta Township will receive $150,000 for the new ADA play equipment at Sharp Park. And lastly, the city of Eaton Rapids will receive a $400,000 for acquisition of property for a recreational center. And I move this resolution.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Rogers, supported by Commissioner DeRosa. Any questions or comments? Commissioner Augustine.
Just a comment, so I've enjoyed serving on this committee the last couple of years, and it's been really fun and exciting to see all the great projects that are happening throughout the county. Obviously, some that got funded through county grants and some that did not. All worthy projects. I just continue to encourage all of our local townships and municipalities to apply for these grants on an annual basis. Last year, I believe we gave out north of $600,000. This year, we're giving out $400,000. And so it's exciting to be a part of the local parks. When we passed the Parks Millage, this was a component that we talked about continuing onward, and I'm glad to see that. I'm excited that we're spreading the funds throughout the county. There's a couple of applicants on here who didn't receive funds last year, so it's nice to, and they had worthy projects, so it's nice to get some money out to those local parks. And I'm just excited to see the productivity and see all the changes in the local parks. The Sharp Park ADA playground is going to be fantastic, and the city of Eaton Rapids has a big project that they're undertaking, and I'm glad to be a decent-sized part of that project. So I look forward to seeing what that community center looks like, and of course, the park at Oneida Township will be great for the residents in our area as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Augustine. Any other comments? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, and my last item is the landfill semi-annual sampling report was also provided showing no major fundings. And that completes my report. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner Rogers. Next up, we have Ways and Means Committee with Commissioner Mulder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our first report here is the annual 4046, which is the valuation report. And Mr. Vandermark is here. If we'd like to have any input on that.
Well, he got all dressed up, so he might as well come up and talk.
You're sitting in the front row.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Taxable values went up quite a bit this year, so that was good news, obviously. We went up 7.58% increase, up to $4,821,905,506. That was the biggest increase we had since 2001. I went over and looked at some of the local units. Some of the largest increases were in Windsor Township. We had an increase of 9.2%. The City of Charlotte had an increase of 10.0%. The City of Lansing had an increase of 11.5%. Little Olivet City had an increase of 11.9%, and Pottery was up 12.0%. So they had some pretty big increases in some of the municipalities. Is there any questions about this particular report?
Commissioner Augustine.
Once again, no question, just a comment. You answered the question in committee, but one of the things that I would just point out to the members of the board and the public is the differential between the taxable and the SEV, and how important that is to the discussion that we're going to be having later. The fact that we have a 32%, almost 32% spread now has obviously added to the financial issues that the county has faced and will continue to face. So just pointing that out, that even though the values have climbed substantially, the county through Proposal A does not get the benefit of those in full. So that's one of the issues that we face. So just to point it out to everybody. Thank you.
And I would comment about some of the taxes that are captured. That would include the FDLAs and the DDAs and the Renaissance zones. And Mr. Vandermark, the Renaissance zones are relatively new. How does that affect the overall taxable value of the county?
Yeah, that is included in the taxable value report. That's taxes that is not collected by the county. So it's on the roll, part of it on the ad valorem roll and also on the IFT roll as well, which is pretty substantial. The one for the battery plant is gone up quite a bit on the IFT roll, but we're not receiving the taxes. So it's kind of like about 2/3 of the tax roll at this time. We're not collecting, so pretty substantial.
Okay.
Any other questions for Tim?
I would move it.
Support. Moved by Commissioner Mulder, supported by Commissioner Augustine. Any comments, questions? See none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
The next resolution is to approve entering into early bargaining with the youth facility. I would point out that as we talk about some of the problems we have in recruitment and retention, the youth facility is often overlooked. It's an area that is essential to the operation of the county. It's one of the more important things that we do is working with the court-ordered youth detentions. And we're having a heck of a time hiring people to work there. And it's, by necessity, it's a 24-hour site. The youth that are there, some of them are in day treatment, most of them are in day treatment, but there are those that are actually boarded full-time, and they're youth. They require more attention. It's important that they have different parameters that are used for the jail. It's not a jail, it's our youth facility. And, you know, the kids that are there are more or less there because we're trying to instruct them and better their lives and put them on the right path. And we have a great, fabulous staff that works for that every day. But because it's what it is, we're having a hard time staffing. And so hopefully by bumping up some of the bargaining early, we'll be able to help retain and attract some people for that facility, especially in light of our expansion. We, of course, are expanding that facility, and we'll need to staff it. And we're already having a hard time staffing what we've got. So that's it's a tall order. And I want to commend Mr. Mulvaney, who's been running the facility and keeping it going, doing a great job, but you only can work with what you got. And there's just not enough applications. So this is our attempt to alleviate that problem, and I would move it.
Support.
Moved by Commissioner Mulder, supported by Commissioner Haskell. Any questions, Commissioner Brailer?
Thank you. I just want to simply indicate that while I'm going to be supporting this resolution tonight, I'm cognizant of the fact that some of the employees of the juvenile care facility are on the general fund budget. And we're going to discuss later the financial difficulties that the county is facing, and there's a resolution to address that. Not all of the employees from the juvenile care facility are on the general fund budget. A great many of them, and I don't recall off the top of my head the percentage split, are on the juvenile justice millage. And so there is funds available, at least in part, to address this issue. I'm supporting it because we have expanded the juvenile justice, or the juvenile care facility. We are looking at providing more and better programs for our youth who are having a difficult time, and I think that's important. But I am cognizant, as should we all be, that this is going to, in some way, exacerbate the financial problems that the county is facing. And I think we need to be prepared to balance those difficulties. Thank you.
Any other comments? Seeing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Number 3, the resolution pledging the full faith and credit for the bank intercounty drainage district. And I'll just move it.
Moved by Commissioner Mulder, supported by Commissioner Youngquist. Any comments, questions? Seeing none? Commissioner Haskell.
If I remember right from Ways and Means, this is an expansion onto the original one, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, we're to budget amendments. We have a few. The first one is an accounting issue with recognizing where the ARPA funds are located as, essentially it's accounting, right, Connie?
Correct.
So, not much to be said about that. Moving numbers from one line to another.
From one fund to another.
Okay. The next one is an interesting one. There are opportunities to gain some tax credits for some of our infrastructure and some of our capital investments. And it's not our specialty to do this. And it's, I believe, $1.2 million in tax credits that are available. Is that right?
Yeah.
And honestly, it's a good chunk of money, but we neither have the time nor the experience or background to fill out the forms. Staff looked at what they had to do. It became an onerous job and one that required some specialized expertise. And for us to be able to claim the $1.2 million, we need to fill out a lot of paperwork for the IRS, and staff has determined, and Ways and Means has determined, that the best way to do that is to hire a third party for $55,000. Raymond would be the firm that does it, and they've made a presentation, and it looks like it should be a good deal for us in the end. So that's what this budget amendment is for. And the next one, for the Sheriff's Department for $5,400. And the others are the other side of a lot of these, what we were just talking about with the computer fund, a register of deeds, and the ARPA fund, the other side of that. So I would move the budget resolutions.
Moved by Commissioner Mulder, supported by Commissioner DeRosa. Commissioner Augustine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, just to follow up on Commissioner Mulder's comments on the $55,000 budget amendment. I was concerned about the cost of that in Ways and Means. After a lot of discussion, it was clear that it wasn't just forms that were being filled out too. It was several hours of meetings with vendors and talking about the different infrastructure improvements that we had and digging through numbers and bills and things like that. So at first it was a pretty high dollar amount for me. But obviously, you're talking about $1.2 million potentially on the end of it, so that obviously makes that worth the investment. And it was quite clear after the discussion that we had in Ways and Means that it was needed in order to go after that $1.2 million. So I'm very supportive of that budget amendment. So thank you, and the rest as well.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. The next resolution is the culmination of years of work that actually predates Controller Sobey. I mean, we've been working on this for several years, and this is the resolution to form a tax resolution board. And we've had some open meetings about it. We had long discussion at Ways and Means. We've engaged employees. We've engaged township officials. And we're trying to make it as open as possible to get people involved in this process. And this particular step is necessary to form the allocation board, to put the people together in this group, and make the decision as to what overall, the unincorporated, the ISD and the townships that are unincorporated, and the county, what the tax levy would be. So this is the first step in that process, and it's been a long process, but it's been a very good process. I think we've really teased out a lot of the information. We've spent some time going over a lot of the numbers. Staff has done a great job, and the commissioners involved with the financial stability have done literally 100 hours of work on this. And I think the outcome of the work is here, and it's time to get moving with it. So I'm going to go ahead and move the resolution to alter the fixed separate tax limitation and to create a county advisory tax limitation committee.
Support.
Been moved by Commissioner Mulder and supported by Commissioner Augustine. All right, let's open it up for comments and questions. Commissioner Haskell.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that this was something that Commissioner Augustine brought up in Ways and Means as well, that this has been refreshingly nonpartisan as it's been brought forward. As Commissioner Mulder said, it's a first step, and depending on how we move forward here, I think it'll be up to every single one of the commissioners here to kind of carry the water and make sure that the public understands why it's important.
I would invite Prosecutor Lloyd up if he'd like to make some comments about it, and maybe the treasurer, and go ahead, Doug. You're up.
I'll let Bob go first.
Doug yielded to somebody when it was time to speak? That's
I always enjoy the last word.
Oh, there we go.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As you're probably well aware, I'm come with prepared remarks, so indulge me, please. My name is Doug Lloyd, and I am your Eaton County prosecutor. And as your prosecutor, I support the formation of the advisory committee to assess the current tax limitations that were set in 1978. The board has dedicated the time to review the county finances, and as an elected official, I value the work that has been done. I thank you for involving county and local officials, county employees, and members of the public in the process. I believe you as a group are actually considering the constituents of the county, but are also realizing we have 415 dedicated people in this complex who serve them. With public safety, you continually hear from the sheriff and myself. For almost as long as we have been elected, he was elected in 12, I was appointed in 13, we have had concerns for the safety of our residents. Your committee gave us the opportunity to express those concerns, and it was a well and thought out process. Public safety encompasses the full cycle of a reported crime, from the investigation, arrest, jailing, to the evaluation of a case and its prosecution. It's my job's office to ensure that all defendants are treated fairly and that all victims' rights are protected. My office, like that of the sheriff's, is struggling to retain employees and recruit qualified candidates. Why? Because we don't have the funds to pay a competitive wage. So in the end, who's affected because of that? Every member of the public, every constituent in this county. We need more revenue to maintain the level of public safety my office, the courts, and the sheriff provide to the residents of Eaton County. You created a report that shows the story of Eaton County. Actually, on Friday, hearing Commissioner Moudre's comments at Ways and Means last week actually spoke to me. The county's in trouble, and it feels like we have a family member who's hurting. Because you see, I've been the elected prosecutor since 2013, and I've been employed in the prosecutor's office since 2000. In that time, I've had not really the opportunity, but unfortunately, it's like a car crash, you just can't look away, to see the county's financial struggles impacting services to residents and impacting the staff providing those services. The cost of services, technology, and infrastructure have increased and will continue to increase at a pace greater than the revenue the county currently is able to levy. As elected officials, it'll be our job to explain what services are provided to residents and what they stand to lose if the county doesn't find the additional revenue. The largest cost to the county includes the sheriff, the prosecutor's office, and the courts. It's these three offices that comprise public safety. And what is the primary responsibility of the county government? To provide public safety. However, we must remember too that there are 415 people working in the county to provide services to our citizens. And every day our departments have the same problems that the sheriff and I have: retention and recruitment. If something is not done, our citizens will be left with nothing more than a shell of a county providing the minimal services. That's nothing, not anyone, no one wants that. And as a citizen, not something you should see your county have to do. So I request all 15 of you move this forward to the next step so that decisions can be made which would then allow us to speak to our constituents as to the issues Eaton County faces now and the issues they'll face in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lloyd.
Thank you, Doug. Bob, would you like to speak, or?
I can't say it any better than that.
Okay.
Glenn would be proud.
Well, and I'll remind all of us too that we all are involved in this and need to be involved. Now, legally, as the county cannot advocate for any kind of a ballot proposal. It's against the law. It's not something that can happen. But each of you as elected officials don't fall within those guidelines. We can advocate for whatever we want because we're electeds. We aren't bound by saying that the same way that the county is. We can speak our mind, we can talk our opinion in public, we can do what's necessary, and I urge all of you to use your contacts and talk to people that you are in touch with. We as commissioners touch dozens of citizens every week. I mean, I talk to all kinds of people, and I'm sure you all do too. I was at a township meeting last night, talking to my fellow residents, and our job is to help this county flourish and to grow and make this county better and to keep the county from going backwards and losing so many of the services that it has right now. So this is only the beginning for all of us. I think it's important after the tax allocation board makes their determinations that we all get involved, do what we're good at, lobby, talk to people, and explain what it is that we're talking about here. So that's your jobs, and not just mine, because I'm on the Financial Stability Committee. It's all of our jobs, and I would like all of us to get out and be involved in this process. So that's my statement.
Commissioner Augustine.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So almost everybody in this room heard my statement on Friday, so I won't repeat myself too much. But I did want to just add a couple of quick notes. First of all, I agree 100% with Commissioner Haskell. This has been a truly a bipartisan work group, and we've had a lot of conversations, not only with residents and other local elected officials and employees, but also with people like Prosecutor Lloyd and Treasurer Robinson, the clerk. All of our county elected officials have been part of these discussions as we talk about how do we keep the county moving forward in the right direction, and what do we do to address our shortfall that we're looking at in the future. And I think it's important that we understand the process of what we're trying to do here, the fact that this vote will form a committee that will look at our financial situation and will redetermine the allocation throughout the entire county. At that point in time, that board has 10 days to make that decision from the time the final person is appointed. So we expect that in June, we'll be looking at ballot language that is statutory. The board doesn't get to decide, neither do we get to decide what the language is. They just get to decide what the appropriations are. And so I'm assuming that in June, we'll be looking at this here at the board, and we'll have to move forward with putting that on the ballot. Based on timing, it looks like that would be the November ballot. So the important thing to me is that we are giving our constituents the chance to decide what they want county government to look like. Probably most people in this room have heard me say this multiple times over the last year, but to me, it would be unfair and quite frankly, dereliction of duty if we did not give our residents the opportunity to look at the county government and the structure and the funding of it when we're talking about potentially laying off up to a quarter of our workforce if we don't find new revenue into the future. So to me, this is the only prudent and fair thing to do, is to give our residents of this county the opportunity to decide what they want county government to look like and what they're willing to pay for. And it will be up to future boards to determine what that actually looks like once we know what the funding is there. So unfortunately, we will have to begin this year's budget process with the assumption that this millage will not be in place because it won't be voted on until November, and we obviously have to have a budget before then. So there will be a lot of tough conversations that will be had at Ways and Means and as part of our budget process in the next year. But hopefully, next in November, the taxpayers and the residents of this county will support where the county is heading, and will be willing to support the county services as they are and invest in our employees. As Prosecutor Lloyd mentioned, we continue to struggle to find new employees and to keep the county running. And quite frankly, that's part of what has helped us sustain this far, because the lack of employees, the savings from those salaries have helped us to cover our deficits. So I want to also thank the chairman. Chairman Mott has done a fantastic job with the group, working together with staff and with the commissioners on the group to, again, move this forward in a bipartisan way, have very intelligent conversations about where the county's been and where we want to head. And I just think that this is a model for how county government should work. From the meeting that we had with our local elected officials to the hours that we've spent in this room talking about this with staff, talking to the experts in their different areas, the grounds crew, the building maintenance crew, the IT team, and trying to, again, figure out a pathway forward. So I'm obviously very supportive of this process. And will be in favor of this, and I agree with Commissioner Lloyd. It's my hope that this is a unanimous vote and that everybody on this board is supportive of this and understands the importance. Thank you.
Commissioner Brayler.
Thank you. Nobody particularly likes the idea of taxes. And there has been, the time that I've been on this board, a reluctance to address that issue a number of times. But Commissioner Mulder indicated in his remarks that we have a responsibility to address the problems that the county is facing, that we all recognize that they're facing. The prosecutor has talked about, that has been mentioned previously this evening and before. But we also have an ongoing responsibility, I think, to to take the steps that are necessary to ensure that this county is financially stable, not just in the short term for whatever problems we face now, but also for the long term, so that we address the problems that we see and we solve them now. And I think this is the first step to doing that. I am hopeful that this committee that's going to be created tonight will see the same problems that we see on the Financial Stability Committee, and will make a recommendation to this board that not only addresses those short-term problems, but does place this county in an opportunity to be financially stable for the distant future. And so I will be supporting this resolution tonight. Thank you.
Any other commissioners would like to comment? All right. Well, I suggest we do a roll call.
All right. Commissioner Barnes,
Yes.
Commissioner Mulder,
Yes.
Commissioner Augustine.
Yes.
Commissioner Haskell,
Yes.
Commissioner Pearlwright, Commissioner Youngquist,
Yes.
Commissioner Mudry,
Yes.
Commissioner Brayler,
Yes.
Commissioner Drosha,
Yes.
Commissioner Toomey,
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson,
Yes.
Commissioner Lotzenheiser,
Yes.
Commissioner Holmes,
Yes.
Commissioner Rogers. Chairman Mott.
Yes.
Unanimous.
And with that, it's a unanimous vote.
Thank you, everyone.
And I would encourage everyone and the public to look at the report that our committee did. It's put together by staff. It's very concise. It really, I think, exemplifies the situation and has some nice graphs and a lot of information. So the next item is a MMRMA liability litigation, and I would move that we would accept the recommendations of council.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Who supported? Commissioner Augustine. I was busy over here.
Ben?
Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. We need to move our nominee for the Tax Allocation Committee.
I would, if you look at the tax allocation board, there's a set of persons that are on that board. It's law has decided who they are, and one of them is just a citizen. And I would move that Roger Eakin would be the citizen that we use for this this board.
Moved by Commissioner Mulder, supported by Commissioner Lotzenheiser. Any questions or comments?
I will say that Roger was on the Financial Stability Group while he was on he was the Ways and Means Chairman for a couple of cycles, and many, many times he looked at the numbers and he saw the cliff and he urged us to do something about it, and we discussed making some moves back 8 years ago, and none of us had the courage to do it, sadly. And so it's come to this where it's important that we do it now. So Mr. Eakin has been informed that he was we've asked him if he wanted to be on this committee, and he's indicated that he would like to do that.
You moved it?
Moved and supported.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
Motion carries.
Okay. And now it's time for the claims and purchases. I'll move them.
Moved by Commissioner Mulder, supported by Commissioner Drosha. Any comments, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, that completes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mulder. All right, moving on. Next up is our second round of limited public comment. If you'd like to address the board, please approach the podium. Seeing none, we're going to move on to the next item, and we have the administrator's report.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for all of the work for the Financial Stability Work Group and all of the board members. Long time coming, a lot of years that you've been working on this, prior commissioners and current commissioners. It's a lot of stress, I think, for all of you. I think it's a lot of stress for staff and all of the departments of the county. So I know that they'll be very appreciative of what you're doing and moving forward and at least looking at something to make improvements at the county. Pretty excited about it, I guess. It's a lot of work that the county will have to do depending on what the outcome is in any way, shape, or form. We'll be working on the budget, and at Ways and Means, we presented the budget in April, showing a shortfall of about $10 million. In May, that shortfall was reduced to $8 million, $8.2 million, I believe. That's still a large gap for the county to try to fill. We have some things that we'll be able to do, some different revenue changes and some expense reductions, but obviously not $8 million worth. So again, a lot of work. I say I think every year that it's a good idea for board members to attend Ways and Means as much as possible. In June, you will have the General Ways and Means Committee meeting. The board meeting will be on June 20th, which is a Thursday, and the Ways and Means Committee will have another meeting on June 21st. So there'll be opportunities for all of you to be involved, which I hope you are, and for departments to come in and speak to what their needs are, how they're willing to work with the board, which they all are. In the meetings that we've had with departments that our finance director has had, it's been they understand the issue. They understand what we're going to be dealing with in 24, 25. So again, I just appreciate all the work, and I appreciate you for the work that you're going to have to do in the next coming months.
Thank you. All right, moving on, we got commissioner comments. Any commissioners got anything to say? Commissioner Haskell.
Just a friendly reminder to everyone that may have signed up for the Eaton County Spring Cleanup Event. I believe today was the last day to register for that, but that is this 18th from 9 to 2 in Delta Township. And they'll be doing electronics recycling, which is topical for tonight, and with some suggested donations if you are bringing electronics.
Any other commissioners? Commissioner Augustine.
Just briefly, I want to thank everybody on the board. I think we've had some real considerate conversations across party lines over the last 6 months about what we're looking at doing and what we've been trying to figure out. And it has, as I said in Ways and Means, it really has restored my confidence in how the political system, or excuse me, how the public system should work. And it has been really great to be able to have conversations, not always agreeing on things, but always knowing that the person sitting across from you has the best interest of Eaton County in their heart. And that's the important thing. And I'm just so happy that all of our work thus far has kind of led us to this point to where we are now asking people outside of this room to essentially decide the fate of the county. But we're giving them all the tools and the information, and I certainly, and I hope everyone else will continue to do that and provide that information to the residents throughout this county so that they understand what we're asking them to do in November. So, thank you.
Any other commissioners' comments? Well, I just want to let everybody know that Bellevue does have a Memorial Day parade, and it is very, very good. And at the end of the parade, they do a ceremony at the cemetery. So it's very, very touching. And this year, they asked me to give a speech at the ceremony. So, yeah. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But,
Abraham Lincoln only spoke very briefly at Gettysburg.
TV crew out there. Teleprompter too.
yeah.
I'll add then that Grand Ledge also has a nice parade, and it ends at the cemetery with a memorial
Okay,
veterans.
good.
Thanks, Jeannie.
You're welcome, Terrence.
They didn't ask me or Jeannie to speak, so they know better than to give me a microphone.
Yeah, just briefly, I want to thank Controller Sobey and her team, Deputy Director Ben, and there's 3 sitting back there against the wall that we spent hours here on Fridays once a month going over stuff that they put together for us, and it was a lot of hours that they worked on this. And I don't think there was one Friday morning that we got out of here before noon. And I think one day it was like 1:30, but we just should be proud of the team that we have here. They are dedicated and hardworking, and we appreciate you guys. So, with that, I think we've come, or we got one more item? Commissioner, unfinished business?
None.
None? Old business?
None.
Any new business? All right. With that, we adjourn till Thursday, June 20th.